Ay, I can't lose. I can't lose. Either way, this all gets, it's time to choose. I can't lose. I might cruise. God help me get it from the mud, no excuse.
Oh man, I ain't even understand. I ain't even here chan. I ain't even know the ran loss made me a warrior, man.
Yeah,
It's
finally.
fine because you basically fumbled the whole introduction to the podcast.
No, like I'm running on fumes, yo. Like I'm running on fumes, but I didn't want to push us back for another day. We needed to get it done.
No, good stuff. It's my fault anyway. But yes, that's a great thing to be looking forward to. Myself and Loso, we basically finished each other's. Come on, bro.
Wow, talk about fumbles.
No, I knew what he was doing. I thought you were going to do it.
No, he's talking about your battle.
I said we basically finished each other's.
Genesis.
Yeah, and so,
And that's a choke, Loso. That's a choke.
Well, I didn't say anything.
Exactly. That's why it's a choke.
Yeah, I'm excited, though. I'm excited. I don't know. I'm just curious view-wise. Like, King of the Dots views are kind of low.
Yeah.
But with 4 of us on there and with not a lot of other stuff dropping, like, I would think that it should at least do 200,000 views pretty easily. But then again, I've been proven wrong tons of times on King of the Dot. So
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said when I retweeted it, like I've watched a lot of that first round. That like when I'm watching it, like I'm
frustrated. I'm so mad at that first round. Like even in the trailer, like where we have to stop because people are like reacting and saying stuff. Yeah. So frustrating. But it's obviously great material. So
absolutely. So yes, that drops tomorrow. Loso Ward versus B. Geechee, King of the Dot, man. Please go and run that. And one thing I am going to clip down is Loso not finishing the sentence. Just to show that, it takes that chemistry. That's still, even though, you're a new 2-on-2, that chemistry, you're still working on it a little bit.
Yeah, it was a lag in the connection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
But all right, cool. Let's go ahead and jump into this Last Dance documentary. So, we weren't able to link up last week, so I want to go through episodes 5 and 6 because there's some things that I noted about Jordan and kind of what he was going through in those particular episodes that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And the episode starts off, I think it's episode 5, with Jordan in a hotel room, and he's talking about, like, you don't want to be me.
Yeah.
This life looks sweet. But it's not all it's cracked up to be. And then it goes to show him, he's okay, leaving the hotel, fans all around him want autographs, want a piece of him. He's meeting with for lack of a better term, like a kid who's like Make-A-Wish, right? Who has like some type of terminal disease or some type of disease. He's meeting them and their family, taking pictures, signing autographs before the game. Then he goes through the preparation for the game. Game happens. More autographs, meeting more people, more fans in the hallway, more fans at the hotel, and then his night is done. And these type of restraints, or these type of, not restraints is not the word I'm looking for, but these type of demands are not being made of any other athlete on the team, not to that level. Then you start to add in, they went back between that 98 season and that 93 season where the gambling stuff starts to come out, right? The Atlantic City visit during the 93 playoffs against New York. And he's just, he looks physically done, and I'm pretty sure he's mentally done at that point. And like, when you saw that, like what is going through your head when you see Jordan going through kind of like these trials and travails and shutting out the media for a few weeks, if not a month or so, because he was just sick of dealing with the constant pressure?
So for me, I always had a perception of Jordan. I mean, besides obviously him as a family man and stuff, like I always thought his dealings with basketball was a clean slate. I actually never heard of him leaving the playoffs and going, I mean, obviously that night going to go to Vegas and gambling and stuff. But, man, I don't know, bro. Like, even what you mentioned earlier as far as, like, the demands that's being made on him as a basketball player, and then I guess they were using that to fuel the next couple of episodes, which then led to Jordan being mentally exhausted, and that's why he retired. My only thing is, like, like I'm guessing Ewing might have been having the same schedule. You know what I'm saying? Like Barkley might have been having the same schedule. Like I just feel like you visiting the kid is just something that every NBA player does before a game, especially nowadays. But with Jordan at that time, the gambling thing stuck out to me a lot. I think that was a cop-out on him, right? Like not wanting to talk to the media. Then his Ahmad Rashad interview with the sunglasses, bro. That was terrible. I was like that was the Adi Boom interview all over, bro. I'm just like, Jordan, just go home, bro. Even, like if you did it, it would have been better. But me, I almost had zero sympathy for Jordan when he was saying he was physically tired and mentally tired, only because I guess like watching LeBron now, I'm a little spoiled with like, yo, this dude's been 17 years straight. You know what I'm saying? 17 years straight and not physically tired. I mean, he's out doing everything, making schools and stuff like that. And Jordan kind of using that. I'm just like, I don't know. So
I don't know, man. Like I think you got to understand it's a different time. So Jordan being the guy, the face of the league, everyone is expecting him to have this squeaky clean image. You know, like it hits a little bit different than LeBron, because LeBron, he's grown up in the social media era, right? So he's used to all the slings and arrows, and he can block out a lot of that. Jordan, who was only used to positive coverage, like this is the first time where after the Dream Team, after this kind of worldwide adulation and love, now people are starting to, for the first time, I don't want to say turn on him, right? But now in today's society, we build you up to tear you down. And it took a while for that to happen to him. And so for the first time, it's happening to him. And now he's just like, well, yo, what else do you want from me, right? I do all of these things, and yet now, you know, because a guy drops a book, now my gambling is a problem. And to your point, that Ahmad Rashad interview, like he looked like a person with a problem, right? Like anytime you see somebody, dark room, dark lighting, shades on. Michael, do you have a gambling problem? No, I have a competition problem.
Yeah, when he's like, you want to bet? I don't want to. You want to bet? Do I want to bet you don't have a gambling problem? Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah.
You better not call me a snitch. I'll go tell on you.
Hilarious. So this brought up something when I watched it that I wanted to bring up with you guys, because you guys are in the limelight. You guys are, when you're out on the road, like I've been out with Ward and people just like, yo, you A Ward? Yo, I love you. You know, so I've seen that a few times when we've been out and about, like Oklahoma City, out in the just regular city, like stuff like that. So I want to ask you guys, like, battle rap is one of those genres where you are more touchable to the, accessible is the word I should go for there, accessible to fans than any other group, right? Rappers, big time rappers are not as accessible. They can be, but they choose whether or not they are. You guys have to engage your audience because you're trying to build a fan base so that you can get views, sell merch, go on tour, that type of thing. Yet, pause. Ethan, sir, I need you to leave. I need you to get out.
I thought that was Norman.
No, that was not normal. I played it off as long as I could.
He said Norman, I thought.
So I wanted to ask you guys, because you guys are out in the public eye, you are being battle rappers, you guys are very accessible. You kind of have to be, because you are, trying to build a fan base that will watch your battles, buy your merch, buy your music, things of that nature. And so I feel like for you guys, it's kind of a two-pronged, you're on two different levels, right? You're the battle rapper, right? So you could be out and about and someone goes, yo, Loso, yo, I just watched you versus Arsenal, man. I love your stuff. But then there's a Christian aspect of it where it might be a believer who watches battle rap. And so like you could have just gotten into a knockout, drag out argument with your wife. You gotten some bad news. Someone has irritated you. Yet when they see you, they expect you to be not necessarily the person that they see on cam, but they're expecting you to be open, receiving, willing to listen to whatever they have to say, right? So how do you guys navigate that field with that much accessibility to your lives?
I would say that I'm not very careful about it. Like I think that sometimes you should be just more mindful of being kind of to yourself. But at this point, like I probably just give myself away and my accessibility and everything to just anybody and whoever right now. But when it comes to like I was talking with Loso earlier, like I always feel like every situation that you every engagement that you have with somebody is like an interview, you know, and it's kind of like if that person sees me, I might want to act or feel a certain way, but that person could be somebody who wants to buy merch, who wants to share the video, who wants to do something to that extent in the future. And the way that I, you know, communicate back and forth with them has to be mindful of that, you know, because 99% of the time, the people that I'm engaging with are not becoming a friend per se. They're not becoming somebody that is going to, you know, be on the podcast or I'm going to talk to weekly or whatever. They're becoming, you know, a fan, a supporter, you know, and there's been times at battle events, there's been times, you know, I know that, you know, when Loso and I did the 2-on-2, we got there and they told us we were about to go on stage. We didn't have a whole lot of time to like get around. People wanted to do interviews. They want to pull you this, that, and the third. And we're like, look, you know, like we're one track minded till after the battle, you know? But most time people understand that. But I'm not at the point now to where like I don't enjoy taking pictures or having conversations, but I do. I mean, I ignore a lot of messages. Like I ignore a lot of DMs on Instagram, a lot of DMs on Twitter. You know, if people if they can't get a hold of you there, they're messaging me on my PlayStation 4 account and messages are popping up. Hey, did you see my Twitter DM? You know what I mean? So I do spend the time, you know, ignoring people if I don't have the energy for it. But I wouldn't say it's at a level now to where it's like draining me or I don't enjoy it. So.
Okay, Loso?
I think for me, man, having an outlet where I can, so for instance, like the Four Horsemen, right? Like having a group chat where I can just talk casually about things that I probably couldn't necessarily voice on my social media or just talk randomly, you know, obviously on a platform like that. Not saying that it's like carnal conversation or something, but just regular day-to-day conversations, right? I think that's been helpful for me. You know, I have like another Instagram, you know what I'm saying, that's apart from Loso. Like I have just like a Juan Carlos Instagram. You know, and unfortunately, sometimes, you know, like for instance, I just posted on Instagram like this TikTok video I did, right? And it's a joke of me dying, and I'm on an elevator, you know, and I'm thinking I'm going to heaven, right? But the elevator ends up going down, and so I received actually at least, no lie, bro, at least 6 messages. They were from believers, and they were just like, "Hey, we don't think that that's funny." You know, people die and go to hell every day. And that was their statement to me. And so I was just like, yeah, but you know, like everyone knows that I'm a Christian, right? Like it's even part of our marketing on our social media. And so like that was the funny part. Like I was trying to get them to understand that a church that I was actually doing a Bible study for a couple of days later had asked me if I would take that down. Can I take that post down or at least hide the post until the Bible study was done? And I didn't. I told them no. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I wasn't really with it. So, however, though, I do need to be mindful. I do need to be mindful of that, though, because unfortunately, when and I was just saying this the other day on social media, like the higher your platform, the less tolerant people will become, right? Like you could have done the same exact thing and you're equally as saved as I am. right? However, because you don't have the following, right? Because the eyes aren't on you, they don't, it doesn't necessarily hold the same weight. And so we need to understand, like, because we're given this platform, this is what comes with it. Like, and obviously, I can't necessarily compare myself to like the Tay-Rocks and the Hitmans. Although, like, right, like we can watch some of their encounter or their interactions with fans, and we're like, bro, like, did you really say that? Like, all right, you're getting a little too emotional, or but you got to think about it. They're getting it 10 times more than A Ward and I, right? Then obviously, we were talking about Michael Jordan, right? Like, he's getting it, 30, 40 times more. And so I try to be sympathetic to that. But at the same time, I mean, it just comes with it. Like, you guys aren't the first ones. We're not the first ones. We're not going to be the last ones. You're right, man. We're walking, through I'm walking through Times Square with T-Top, right? And I'm watching, like, the fans flood this man. And they're just like, yo, T-Top, I love this guy, and I'll get, like, one every, like, 6 or 7 blocks. You know what I'm saying? But T-Top, they're lined up at the door. And so maybe we haven't gotten there. And I agree with A Ward too. Like, I'm not at the point where I'm kind of like, shoving people away. I do try to answer everybody on IG unless it's something crazy. But I think it's just like, man, you know what? It just comes with it. And I think what's been helping me out, though, is A Ward, Saga, Street Hymns, like being able to kind of just communicate with them, screenshot messages, send it to them. Hey, what do y'all think? And, we kind of bounce it off of each other.
That's what's up.
Yeah, we had this conversation, me and Loso, because he brought it, like, to my attention, that church and how they were, how they approached him. And then we also talked like because we've signed up for this, like, I personally wouldn't go try to become a full-time pastor and a full-time battle rapper, because I know that the way that I engage fans and the way that I communicate on Twitter and how I handle myself with a battle rap platform is probably going to be like oil and vinegar, or oil and water. What's to say? Oil and water. It's not really gonna. There's gonna be too many things, like that. That kind of clash between the both of them. And so, like, you got to be mindful of the battle rap fan, the battle rap supporter, and then context, because I think about it all the time when I see certain people on my Twitter who just follow me from way back or whatever, and I'm just like, yo, they probably, what do they think of me? Like, when they see me retweet all of these things, or they see me, engage in back and forths with people about battle rap and stuff, like, hey, this dude just met me at the freaking Quick Trip, and doesn't know me. He knows me because I freaking used to work at Waterway or something like that, like. And so trying to be mindful of the context there, and like how you engage and communicate is difficult too, because it's this stuff.
Ward, like, with what's unique though is that, like, we'll have the hardcore battle rap fan, right, who's not even in the church, and then we have some, like, pastors and leaders who know that we're doing some sort of missionary work, right, but they're not clicking on our battles necessarily, right, so they don't understand the context. So they see us tweeting, like I told Ward, I said, like, I've spoken at conferences, right? I get to these, like, Lutheran conferences where it's like the majority, like the average age is like 50, bro. And, like, they're great guys, right? But they follow Loso just because we've communicated. They heard me preach, and they're like, oh, cool, this seems like a great guy. Now they're seeing me, going back and forth, and I'm like, snake eyes, bro. You can't see me on a stage, and you can't see me in real life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, bro. And it's like, I don't know how to communicate that to them, but just to let them know, like, yo, I have a variety of people following me, and I try to, that's why you'll see me quote some Puritans, even though I know John and Bad News have no idea who Thomas Watson and Richard Backstar, right? You'll see me go ahead and talk about who's better, Mook and Lux, even though, John Piper has no idea who the GOATs in battle rap are. Like, it's like a balance that we have to kind of find, but we have to be ourselves, bro. And I think that's what makes us.
Hold on, John.
No, he doesn't follow me.
John Piper follows you? I was about to say.
Hey, hold up. John Piper followed me for about maybe a month.
I remember you told me that.
Followed me for about a month. And I am blocked by Mark Driscoll.
I'm blocked by Jeff
Geechee-
Driscoll.
It's Geechee Gotti's fault.
I remember that. I remember
It's Geechee Gotti's fault that I'm blocked by Mark
That
Driscoll.
is the funniest sentence ever.
I
I'm
remember
blocked by
that.
Mark Driscoll, and it's Geechee Gotti's fault.
Like, you never thought, if you listen to battle rap, you never thought you would hear the name Mark Driscoll and Geechee Gotti in the same sentence. But yes.
Carlos, I remember you being on Twitter trying to tell Mark, like, yo, I'm an innocent bystander here. Yo.
It's not like, yo, like, I bought your first book, bro. Unblock me. Somebody get this to Pastor Mark. Tell him to unblock me, man.
That's so funny that the pastors have these tweets, like how me and Loso have been getting them the last month, right? Where it's a random tweet that Loso see and be like, yo, A Ward has me blocked. Will somebody please tell me why or whatever, you know? And then like somebody will message me and it's like, hey Ward, can you hit up Loso because I got blocked? All I did was say that he did this wrong or whatever. So I can see this pastors. Somebody else like, hey yo,
And Ward, it's always a condensed version of what actually happened. It's like,
yeah.
yo, I just told Loso that, I just felt daylight edged them. And then I go look up the tweet and it's like, listen here, you fake disciple. I don't even know what you But, and I'm like, that's why you got blocked.
Yeah.
Funny.
I think at some point, you guys on the show, we're going to have an unblock me session where you get 3 people. And this is an idea that is not original. I'm stealing this from Bomani Jones. But he has an Unblock Me Both segment where, like, he picks 3 people. He reads the tweet. He reads the tweet that got them blocked. And he chooses, okay, you get to be unblocked. He calls them on the phone and says,
that's awesome.
You've been unblocked. And, like, 9 times out of 10, the person is like, yeah, you know what? I was out of pocket that day. I was tripping. Or sometimes Bomani be like, look, I was just being, like, you talk about this whole price of fame and accessibility. Like, he's like, nah, I was tripping that day. Like, I had a bad day. What you said wasn't even that bad. I just got dropped the paint just because you just irritated me a little bit, right? Yeah. And so, like, at some point, we're going to have to steal that and have an Unblock Me A Word.
Nah, we need the Loso edition. The Loso edition is a classic.
Yeah. Hilarious. But, yeah, man, Pastor Mark, I'm serious, bro. Get at me. Like, I ain't had nothing to do with that. Geechee got out here talking about ducking smoke and all this stuff, man. And he just added me. I didn't even say nothing in the thread.
I understand you and Geechee having like an exchange of conversation, but how did Mark Driscoll get added in that convo?
Because Geechee, somebody, I think it was Riggs, said something about Ward ducking. Okay. And so, like,
that's the funniest part of this conversation is Ward ducking Riggs.
So Geechee, like, he asked Joel Osteen, TD Jakes, Mark Driscoll, like he basically finds like a bunch of famous pastors and says, yo, this is how y'all Christians get down? Yeah, and so then, like, all of a sudden, then everybody jumps in the comments, oh, Ward ducking smoke, he don't want smoke with Riggs, and Riggs jumps in, and so it's conversation back and forth, and so I'm just kind of reading and laughing, and I click on Pastor Mark, and he goes, you've been blocked. You can no longer view tweets from it. I'm like, yo, what did I do? So.
Yeah, so Geechee, when he went to add pastors, he just and he put the word pastor in, and he just hit the first couple of ones that
had to.
I have no idea. No idea. But yeah, he added up. So while we're talking about being blocked and being unblocked, this also leads me to bring up the story, and I probably told this on the show, of one of the more infuriating blocks that I have in my life, and that is Bun B from UGK. I am blocked by Bun B from UGK. So when Philip Avery died, who was Uncle Phil on The Fresh Prince, people were putting up RIP photos of Bun B saying, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Right? All I said was, man, somebody else said, put up Bun B's face and said, RIP, Uncle Phil. That's all I said. That's all I said. Like, I didn't laugh. I just said, shaking my head. And then I went and looked, like 2 years later. I wasn't even following Bun B no more. Somebody mentioned him in the tweet, and I was like, I'm just going to run through his timeline real quick, see what he's talking about. And then must said I'm blocked. So somebody holler at Bun B for me, too, and get me unblocked. Because, I did nothing wrong. But I digress. All right, so now.
I can't lose. I can't lose. Either way this all gets, it's time to choose. I can't lose. I might grow. God help me get it from the mud, no excuse.
Oh man, I ain't even understand. I ain't even here saying warrior man.